Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of appreciation to Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintana, Alistair Main, Billy Highvolt, Burn Factor, My Stomach is as Flat as the Earth, Chow Young Cat, Dank, Dave Rakia Gafford, David Wayne Foster, Edwin Johnson, Owen Jennisons, Felix Hung, Fireball X, God Rockin, Henrik86, Jeranism, Joshua Balsimo, Kirsten Smith, Liam Nedrick, Life is Short, Matt, Missouri Bear, Nagara, Nathan Thompson, Naibai, Qatar Craig, Renee, Sally Ballis, Silver Umbrella, Skeptic936, Texas Mike, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon and Zodiac Clock app, theflatearthchannel.com, The Real Gabster, Tina Baker, Tom Herkins, and Windrider. So a massive shout out of appreciation to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now we are joined by a few people in Discord and G+, so I'll raise the mic on them and you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for the first live show.
HUGG.
Okay. Everybody needs a hug. Hey, Need Hug, how you doing?
You might have stepped away too.
Wow, everybody. Maybe someone's giving him a hug.
I had the lines muted, so they can't hear you.
I just got back from getting coffee too. So.
Oh, was it muted?
No, they aren't now, but they were. So
Yeah.
if my line in Discord's muted, in the same way as if you're in Discord, you see me flashing when someone else in the Hangout talks. Well, if my line in Discord's muted, they're not connected to the desk anymore, and neither are you, so you can't hear them and they can't hear you.
True. I see you doing that sometimes. Sometimes during the show.
Yeah, it's useful. If I'm rounding out the show, then over the course of about 60 seconds, I'll periodically mute various different lines to close them down as someone's talking. So there's no interruption when I do the outro, and it's a nice smooth transition from the last person speaking to the outro. Now you don't need to tell the audience, you don't need to spoil the magic, but yeah, I have to do a certain amount of stuff. Normally when I'm debating somebody, it's not exactly automatic. In other words, there's a certain process to it depending on what happens at any given time. But if I'm in the actual middle of debating somebody, like I'm talking to you now, and pressing buttons ready to round out the live show, when I watch it back, I'm like, basically, I'm fantastic. Because I can round out the show on a point and still have the outro run, with me pressing all the buttons while I'm talking, which, I've got to be honest, I impress myself with the fact that I can do it. I know it's just basically muscle memory from doing it so often, but the fact that I can do it at all, I'm like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
What are your topic points for today going to be?
Same as always.
Muscle memory.
Housekeeping tends to segue us into whatever the conversation of the day is going to be. So when the live show starts and we do housekeeping, normally one of those questions will have something that's being discussed at the moment. So we have no agenda. There's no plan for each show.
Well, I'll give you a topic now before the show, if you like. The radius of Jupiter is 43,000 miles. That's what they tell us.
No, it isn't. What are you talking about?
No, hang on. I'm going somewhere. Of course it isn't. But the point is, this black swan is killing him from every angle. They say that the radius of this Jupiter, because they got to have everything really far away, right, is 43,000 miles. Well, we just found out from the black swan that the Earth's radius is 264,000 miles.
Oh, I see. So you're going to apply the R value maybe to Venus next, because obviously Venus is the same size as us, and then apply Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion to that, and see where that leaves us with the distances. And yeah, there's an endless stream of things that balls up when you change R, which is why I've said all along, they can't. They have to either concede Well, they can't do anything else. There's nothing to do. They can't change R. They can't claim refraction. The only thing left is a concession.
Yeah, you said it best yesterday when you said they're stuck with their math. Do you remember that? It was.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I may have to go to my notes, but you rounded it well. No, they can't do anything. They must stay with their radius. This is what they have.
Yeah. Right.
Look at all the things would change.
Yeah.
The so-called non-force gravity would change. Everything would change. Your weight on Earth. Oh, I think I said this already, but if you just doubled the Earth's radius, your weight as a 200-pound man would be 400 pounds. What happens when you go from 39.59 to 264? So it dies right there. So there's no gravity. This thing killed gravity because we just found out the radius is 264 and I weigh the same.
You see Ranti's platform habitat and platform hill house versus platform Buddha and platform egg house?
I did wake up to that image. I just have no recollection as what those mean because I wasn't around when he did those.
Well, he's got the end of the track, which you could argue is a geometric horizon, a physical obstruction. And then he's got the Buddha and the egg. I mean, it's just a joke, but it's just funny, the fact that you've obviously got a horizon behind the egg and behind the Buddha, and same applies to the black swan observation. I might as well stick it up on screen. Just give me a second. He's gone to the effort of making it. See if I can get it so it's legible. Hold on a second.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I just thought it was in reference to something he did on a track before, because he had mentioned something about doing something on the track being flat.
Yeah, that's his observation that he did 18 months ago. He's just using it as a humorous comparison.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it.
It's funny now that you put it that way.
I like it. It's good. Give that a thumbs up. God, it was Friday. A long day Friday.
Yes, it is.
But hey, 4 more hours.
You get that sometimes on weekdays, so.
Yeah, but that's when it happens organically, whereas at the start of a Friday, like, okay, no matter what happens, I'm going to be sat here for quite some time. So
it's the long shift.
it is.
Yeah, so let me see if I could run something that's in my thoughts. So prior to the Black Swan, things were looming over something that shouldn't be seen. After the Black Swan, the very thing that shouldn't be seen is looming over the thing that shouldn't be seen. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, the horizon's looming above the horizon, if they're going to apply looming. Well, looming in there, looming is based on R. Well, the R gives you the physical obstruction that they're claiming things are looming up from behind. Well, you can't have it behind the things that are supposed to be hidden by it. That's a geometric impossibility. You can't loom the horizon above the horizon. As I say, the only way mathematically to get around this is to change R and just claim Earth's the size of Jupiter. Well, that ballses up everything else within their construct and their maths. So they can't do that. They won't do that. The morons might. We might get some double-speaking asshole that comes here and does that.
Well, it would be bigger than Jupiter. Jupiter's radius is only 43,000, according to what they say, because they know the radius of everything, right? Except it's not working here on the very Earth we're on. So if you can't measure correctly here, how are you going to measure way out there if way out there is real?
Well, no, they base the measurement up there on the presupposition of the R value down here. They also superimpose that R value onto another line in the sky called Venus. So, again, things get bad pretty quickly when you start changing R, which is why they won't be doing that. It's just the only end to the Black Swan argument is concession. The Earth is not a sphere. It cannot possibly be. The geometry does not work.
but we go back to Hipparchus in that book, Kings Dethroned, that Robert Bresson recommended, and I got it. And in there, he was at least he's credited to be the first guy that gave the baseline argument, which is all the lights in the sky are too far. So they're all out there, and the nearest one to us is like 4.2 light years. So because of that, by pushing everything so far out, they use those far out lights to measure Earth. Come to find out, you made a big mistake to measure Earth from Earth.
Yeah, they turn objections into the stars would have to be enormous into the stars are absolutely enormous.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Went on Discord with it a couple of times already, and the ballers there, I mean, they're so weak they can't even present a decent argument for it.
Hey, Flatsoid.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, good.
Good. Good morning, Flatsoid. Can you hear me, Flatsoid?
I think he might just be at work.
Yes, sorry, I'm coming out. I'm just going to get to my other Wi-Fi quickly. This one's a bit bad.
Okay. You got two Wi-Fis.
I was on mute. I might share something quickly. I've seen somebody post in Discord.
Okay.
Share screen. All things. All right. Am I sharing? Yeah, I am. All right, here it is. I see Nemor Vet post this cartoon drawing here. If you guys can see it.
It's too small. Can you make it bigger?
Yeah.
There we go.
And it says how globeheads see the horizon. Super secret.
Hold on, let me just frame it a bit better. Hold on. I love it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I tend to have two Wi-Fis. You have to always be prepared, man.
Yeah, while we might joke, it's because we're sitting pretty, there's no stress in this proof for us whatsoever. You know, defending it's not particularly difficult. The only difficult part is making people who are a bit less intelligent and actually understand the argument in the first place. But beyond actually just explaining the argument to people, it's not that complicated. And there is no rebuttal, so we're sitting pretty.
Go back to that picture that Wright just put up there. That was a guy in Discord who did that the other day. We had a good laugh. So would that be an orthographic view?
It would.
Muppet Vision of what they say it is?
Yeah. It's a Muppet Vision perspective exclusive side-on view of what they think the horizon's doing in the platform habitat and platform hill house shot.
You want me to share it again?
No,
might as well.
Okay. So what a wonder that now they don't like Muppet Vision.
There's a lot of things there's left for them not to like in this example, I would say. Man.
Oh, that's great. So Flatso, you got two Wi-Fis and the Globers have two horizons. Haha.
Yeah, the only difference is mine's actual.
Very good. So was that it, Ratchet, or were you going to share something else?
No, I guess that was it.
Oh, some other picture came up first, I thought.
Well, there's there's some other stuff, but it seems like too insulting sometimes.
Yeah,
that comes up in Discord.
Yeah, don't worry. The one you did was good enough. Well, I see you trimmed out that Coriolis talk you had yesterday, Nathan.
Yeah, when I listened to it back, the whole time that it was happening, number one, I didn't appreciate how much time had elapsed. And number two, I'm trying to shut him down. I'm just trying to shut him up. So not Flatsoid. So who was it?
Mind Warp.
Mind Warped. So I'm just trying to clear the airwaves for Mind Warp to make his example, which he was sat for at least the length of that video, about 17 or 18 minutes. So a significant period of time for him to just sit there waiting for a globe head to shut up. But in the process of me just trying, look, shut up, this doesn't work because it's like actually quite a good consistent debunking of the Coriolis effect in me just trying to shut him up. So I thought, oh, that's actually quite good, quite concise. Let's trim that out.
It brought back memories.
My favourite bit is at the end where he's like, can I just make my closing point? And just when I shut him down, I'm like, no, you haven't got a closing point. You've been completely smashed to pieces. You're not going to get to round out with a closing point when you brought up some old crap that we've debunked over and over again. But what I heard him say while I was saying pretty much that was like an ad hom towards Bob Nodell. And you're like, the entire thing was just purely positioned to attack Bob Nodell. That was his only motive.
Yeah, he was trying to pit one flat earther against another and attack at the same time.
Yeah, but after smashing it, I heard him say things like, yeah, flat earth approved, blah, 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 blah. In other words, he just wants to attack somebody. Doesn't matter that we've smashed the example, he still wants to claim that a flat earth has proved his point when it's been smashed to pieces. It's like, even when it's been demolished, he still wants to, in his closing remarks, badmouth the person that he's used in the example he presented. Doesn't listen to the debunkings, doesn't listen to the rebuttals, just wants to get the ad hom in at the end. Like, no, screw you. You're not going to even get your chance to do that. I heard what he was going to do, so I'm not just being unreasonable and saying, oh, we would have done that. No, I heard him attempt to, while I was saying, no, you can't. In other words, he was going to do it regardless.
Yeah. Well, I do want to address the stupid point that they say that it doesn't work with a plane because the plane has a motor, an engine, something that's able to allow for power and thrust, controlled flight. So they use all these words, motors, engines, controlled flight. Well, look, if you're above the ground, it doesn't matter if you're a hot air balloon, a glider with no motor, an airplane with a motor, you're above the ground. It's the ground that's spinning in your world.
Yeah, but also one thing they fail to ignore is the tangential speed that will, as you go up, down.
Well, hang on. Before we beg the question of them going backwards, because obviously if they're going to bring conservation of momentum, their argument looks worse. First, you got to prove the atmosphere is spinning lockstep with the Earth, which they can't because winds go in all directions, because we just step outside and see winds go in all directions. So that's over. So you can't say that. That just dies right there, period. And then an airplane takes off and leaves the ground. And it's going from North Carolina on a westward path to LA. Well, the Earth is going from a westward path to an eastward path where North Carolina is, underneath you, at 860 miles per hour. And you're flying the other way at 500 miles per hour. These idiots can't see what's happening there.
You just don't understand.
Well,
Have you never seen planes fly backwards before?
But at that point, you're then arguing about a lack of Coriolis deviation. The whole point that, according to them, that proves Earth spinning is a Coriolis deviation. So the moment they start to want to argue about angular momentum being conserved, all they're doing is begging the question, which I also pointed out to him. At that point, you're going to argue Earth and atmosphere travel along as one, with the assumption that Earth is actually moving in the first instance, even though the claim proof is that you have a deviation because they're not travelling as one. Well, that doublespeak I'm not going to argue about anymore. It's like, your claim proof's Coriolis deviation. Where's the deviation? Well, we don't see deviation in a plane because let's argue about conservation of angular momentum. No. Your claim proof is Coriolis deviation. If it's not deviating, there's not Coriolis. End of argument. Not let's argue about why it doesn't deviate.
Yeah, but you see, they always have to skip the observation. Always.
Yeah, straight to begging the question. Straight to just
Nathan,
assuming.
That was a good part of it yesterday, because he was arguing for deviation, and then when you stuck it to him with some facts, he was arguing against the very deviation he was arguing for.
Yeah. We have Coriolis effect, as shown in this gyroscope. Well, we don't see the effect that the gyroscope's implying Earth has in this plane. Well, let's argue about why we don't have that effect. It's like, but you're arguing for having that effect. That's what the gyro's supposed to be proving.
That was brilliant.
I think they understand the mechanics of a gyro, how it works.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't mess with the religion of this space monkey religion of theirs about Earth.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Hey, Paul.
Good morning, Paul.
Well,
Did you get to see that video I sent you, Paul?
Yeah, about Lite. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Those pictures are nice, huh?
Yeah. I haven't really looked at the pictures. I looked at the video, watched the video, or listened to the video and watched a little bit of it.
Well, yeah, but those are screenshots from that part, what they were talking about, that refraction.
Yeah.
So you need something to cause the refraction.
Right.
So if it's on the, if that prism and that glass wasn't there, the light would not be disturbed.
Right. It would continue in a straight line, pretty much.
So they need a horizon to be a distraction, right?
Right. Well, you'd have to, even if you use that, you'd have to show how these effects of refraction would do that to bring the horizon up. They'd have to show how that occurs. Walk us through that.
Yeah, show us measurements taken every foot between us and the observation, and how they're creating infinite numbers of glass-like layers to refract the light at changing angles constantly so that it creates a curve. Yeah, you show me the measurements that proves that. Oh no, it's effect that we've averaged out in our model that doesn't exist in reality. So therefore it's fine. That's their response.
Oh, come on. It's infinite refraction, Nathan. Don't you get it? Infinite refraction.
More than infinite refraction, according to Ruhif, the moron. More than infinite. Greater than infinite refraction.
So you can have more than infinite.
According to Ruhif.
That sounds contradictory there. More than infinite.
Yeah. We're dealing with morons.
When your model doesn't match reality, what does that say about your model?
Broken. Well, he's saying the model can match reality if he applies infinite over 6R. Or greater than infinite over 6R. Right, Ruhif?
I just still think it. Oh, I still think it. Oh, sorry.
It's all right. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh,
No,
I still think it's so funny that for a long time there, they said refraction is negligible, and what you're seeing is curvature. So now they're on the other end of the spectrum. Refraction is there. You have to have it, and it has to be strong. It has to be powerful. It has to be infinite. I think it's funny.
But that's still an explanation, you understand. That's back to slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projections of a lighthouse from behind the reified edge of an Earth curve based on an R value and a perspective hijacking curve calculator, and us saying I can just see it. Well, that argument would still stand if we were talking about something that has just come back from very, very, very far beyond the curve. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the curve, the obstruction, the edge of the sphere that's supposed to be blocking this stuff. Not the stuff itself, the stuff that can be bent at a rate based on R. So this doesn't alleviate the problem. Just applying infinite over 6R doesn't solve this problem.
Well, they don't. The Earth curve calculators that they currently have already figure in 7 over 6R?
Yeah, but my point is it's based on R. Well, in this instance,
No,
you've
no,
got
I
the
know.
obstruction,
No, I know.
the light's bent around, being moved, which is an impossibility with the geometry they use. You can't loom the horizon above the horizon.
No, I agree. My point is they already have said it's 7/6R as a data point in their Earth curve calculator. So this Ruhif guy is saying, well, it could be 8/6, 9/6. It could be anything I want it to be when a contradictory video or photo shows something that shouldn't be. Isn't that really the argument?
No, that was the old argument. And it would wash, because mathematically he can just say, yeah, I can just slide this slider to infinity, or more than infinity, according to Ruhif. Greater than.
Right.
Nevertheless, once he's slid that, he then claims he's got an explanation. Well, that is only applicable to things being bent around the curve, bent around the obstruction, brought back into view from beyond the obstruction. Not the obstruction itself. The obstruction's based on the R that the light's bending at a rate of. 7/6 or more than, greater than, infinite over 6R. Well, that's based on R. So this doesn't solve the problem. My point is, this doesn't end with them saying a mathematical absurdity in our opinion that still works out, because they can very much give that to their audience and they can say, yeah, there you go, I just applied this amount of refraction and then it solves the problem. But that was the old argument. Now it doesn't work. Now it doesn't solve the problem. Now they must adjust R, which they cannot do. So they haven't got a mathematical response to this. There is no rebuttal.
No, there isn't. There's absolutely no. They can do whatever they want. They still need the 6/6. They need the Earth to be. They divide the Earth into 6 parts, and then they add a 7th, and now they want to say that the Earth on the 6 is changing. Well, you can't.
I think QE's right with the amount of time it'll take people to actually appreciate this argument.
Well, it's already happened on Discord where a few of them have capitulated that, okay, we got our math wrong, the model is wrong, but that's what's good about science. We can change our model. So maybe the Earth is a cube or a banana.
Or the Matrix.
Yeah, there you go. And of course, Rumpus said it's the Matrix because reality is that we're a sphere. And so what you saw, if it's real, then we're in the Matrix. And someone, he didn't say who, but he said someone's messing with us.
That's right. Look at my computer model. My computer model, inside a very literal matrix, does not work. Therefore, the picture of reality taken with a camera is the matrix, and my model is real. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Now, the picture's reality. Your model just doesn't work. They don't like it, therefore it suddenly becomes the matrix. A picture becomes the matrix.
It's interesting that we say, show us proof and we'll accept it. And you just said the opposite, or perfectly described their mindset. When you show us proof, we'll say it's the matrix. We won't accept it.
Well, it's funny. Yesterday, Danny, I was talking about that how the temperature of water boiling at sea level at 220 degrees. Danny T actually said, "Oh, well, that's not empirical. That could change. The nature of molecules could change, and then that temperature will change." And I was like, "Are you kidding? Am I hearing this correctly? You're just saying that's why you can't say it's actually proof because it could change in the future." Ain't that a fallacy or something somewhere? Appeal to the future fallacy or something?
No, it's what is the one? Like an appeal to ignorance or something. Argument from ignorance fallacy. Could be different in the future. Really? Well, no. That's an argument from ignorance.
I got you. I just think it's funny. So, I mean, it's funny how science is not. All their arguments are saying that science is not empirical. That's what they're basically saying. The scientific method is not empirical, and if that's the case, then why are they arguing? Because it could change tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, what they're actually saying is our pseudoscience that we claim is science is not empirical. It may change tomorrow. Now, the fact that they just say science might change tomorrow is just incorrect. The method of science, the scientific method, is empirical if you have confirmed and validated your presumed cause and effect by way of systematic experimentation. You have an empirical result. That's the whole point of doing it. Now, they don't do it. They just give you a just so story, and when the just so story is pulled apart by people like us, they change it and say, well, science is ever changing. No, pseudoscience can be changed at whim of the person who's made up the story. Science cannot. So it's pseudoscience that they are actually purveying, not science.
Well, that's why MC Toon says science doesn't prove things. He needs an out.
Again, pseudoscience doesn't prove anything, and that's what he's got on offer.
Yes, we know it's pseudoscience, but what's happened is that since Flat Earth, and maybe on other subjects even earlier, when people challenge the status quo and go to actual science, then the people who hid behind that label science showed themselves to be pseudoscientists because they don't accept the empirical science anymore. They used it while they could use it as a cloak, but when taken to task, like we're taking them to task, all of a sudden they're shown to be pseudoscientists. They never actually ever followed the scientific method.
Something I was thinking about yesterday after talking to the guys. There's the two first laws of logic is the law of non-contradiction and the law of identity. And if you shift the law of identity, like if you change the definition, you're changing the identity of that thing. So it starts to fall apart immediately. Or if something contradicts something else, it falls apart immediately.
Right.
It's just so. But those two statements says something can be true and empirical because it can't be A and non-A at the same time. So it's just funny. I don't know.
For example, you can't have a picture of the blue marble with a very distinct earth curve edge obscuring things behind it that is claimed to be the very same edge we see in the horizon, and then have the horizon be a not actual location that doesn't obscure things and appears in different positions behind that which it's supposed to be obscuring. That's a violation of the law of contradiction and the law of identity. So is it a physical geometric edge capable of measurement with geometry, as it was claimed a couple of years ago and argued about with things going over it and being obscured by it? Or is it a not actual location based on your perspective where the sky appears to meet the ground? Well, the definition of the horizon is very much set in stone. It's not an actual location. The mere reification of a model into that location is a violation of the law of identity and the law of non-contradiction.
Well, these poor laws beat them to death, don't they? They just there was an argument. I don't know if you remember me bringing this up a long time ago. It's called the suicide tactic, which you basically make their own argument fall in on itself, and that's pretty much what's happening. Their argument's falling in on itself.
Yeah, the main reason for their current implosion is because they've got an assertion of a physical geometry to Earth, and that geometry's been proven incorrect. We don't have that geometry. We're not a sphere. It's the end of the argument as far as I'm concerned. Like I say, previous to now, it's just defend the draw by pointing out how ludicrous their side of the draw is. Slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projections of oil rigs from behind the Earth curve edge based on an R value and a begging perspective calculator, all that stuff is just designed to ridicule their nonsensical position in a draw. We say we see it because it's there, they say it's a mirage. But now they don't have that. That's gone. The geometry has failed. And the whole point of their argument is based on what our geometry is. Spherical, the assumption thereof, is what they claim it is. Well, if the geometry physically falls to pieces and doesn't work anymore, then we're not on that geometry. We're not on a physical sphere anymore because it's been disproven. The black swan is that argument. No longer do they have a rebuttal. No longer do they have infinite refraction. No longer do they just apply the bending of light around their presupposed geometry. The geometry's failed.
Yep. The illogical cannot exist in reality.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. Before I do anything else, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who have joined as Lions. So a massive shout out to, let's get a bit closer to my tiny letters, WTBOFNC, Anaconda Malt Liquor 17, Daz Studio 78, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Rep Priestley, We Twins, Contraption, Windrider, All People, Free People, and Eagle Plane and Anchor. So a massive shout out of appreciation to all of you who have joined as a Lion Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member. Now we are joined in Discord and G+ by Righteous Force, Paul Hall, 10th Man, and Flatsoid. First of all, hello, good to have you.
Good morning.
Good to be here. Hello.
Good morning.
Got a few
Greetings
people-
to all.
And greetings to everyone in Discord as well.
Hello,
Looks
Governor.
Good.
like we have a lot. Looks like we have a lot of Globers in the Discord. Maybe they can chime in and explain the Black Swan to us today.
Maybe, we shall see. Any evidence of a physical sphere edge capable of geometric measurement?
No, sir.
Wow, definitely not.
Like my sphere that has three edges has my sphere, and wouldn't it have edges, so wouldn't be my sphere. That's my
So is there any
Well,
evidence
that
of a
didn't take long.
physical geometric Earth curve edge?
so many edges. No edges on spheres. I'm sorry.
Any evidence of Earth curvature?
Not from
No.
Galveston, Texas.
Definitely not from South Africa.
Any evidence of axial rotation?
I sure don't see any indication that we are spinning.
No, you'd have to be a sphere to have axial rotation, so no.
Any
So,
scientific
big question
evidence of gravity?
Nah.
I don't think people know what it is.
We definitely know what it is if we had some scientific evidence for it. Is there any?
No.
No, certainly nobody knows what it is.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Scientific.
Oh, go ahead. Whoever said that in Discord.
Oh no, I just wanted to ask if gravity has edges too.
Oh, this black swan has driven you crazy already, we could tell. Can't wait.
And like a sun, does it have edges too? Does it? Might it?
Sorry, are we using the
Okay.
sun to claim boats go over the edge of the sun? Or is that some fundamentalist globehead religious zealotry that you assert about how our Earth works? I'm pretty sure it's not the sun that we're talking about when we talk about boats going over the edge of a sphere. Or buildings being blocked by the edge of a sphere.
No, I think the sun might have edges.
That's fascinating.
Maybe.
And is there any
Yes.
examples of the distance?
If you count the edges and multiply them by the distance to your next pub.
Shut up. Any single viable scientific hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No, because they don't use science.
No. I've addressed this to them directly and they refuse to answer. So no, if they had it, they would be top of the list to answer, but they don't have it.
Right, the R value. Any evidence of Earth radius?
That would be just begging the question.
Nope.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Again, no.
Definitely.
Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without a container?
Impossibility.
Impossible. Although I did you see Simon and Dan trying to answer this?
What was Simon Dunn's response?
A nuclear reactor.
A nuclear reactor is evidence of gas pressure without a container?
Yes. I
Wow.
actually posted a thing in Master B. You'll see it there. I actually commented.
Can someone on the panel bring up a picture of a nuclear reactor for me, please? Is that possible? I want to have a look at it, see if it would be accurately described as a container. Let's have a little look. Was there any ancillary information to go along with his claim that a nuclear reactor is evidence of gas pressure without a container?
It says it forms a barrier.
It forms a barrier.
Yep. Somehow that bunks our argument. I don't know how, but
Very
pretty much
vague.
scientific as well.
What's the definition of a barrier?
Here we go. Pressurized
Something
water.
with edges.
Pressurized water. What? Reactor.
Wow.
Which bit's the nuclear reactor?
Yo.
Hey, Arwen.
So, sorry for being
Is
late.
the bit on the left the nuclear reactor? Anybody? Anybody at all?
With a vacuum in.
Is water, pressurized water, the same as gas?
Looks like a lot of containers there, Nathan.
I'm just about to say the same thing, 10th man. So which bit is the gas pressure in that doesn't have containment? I don't see anything in this diagram that shows gas pressure without any containment. Can you show me?
That's the whole point.
This looks very much like a container to me. Am I wrong?
Maybe
Well,
you
he's
can come
even-
on and explain it to us.
He's even got it written at the bottom of that image, containment structure.
Where does it say that? Oh yes, so it does. Containment, it says. Isn't that fascinating? Can you scroll down a little bit, please, Righteous Force, just so I can get that on screen? There we go. Perfect. Isn't that interesting? So it even says on this diagram.
and even
Wait. Please
and
tell me
the-
this was not given as proof of gas pressure without a container,
Yes, by Simon
Yep.
Dan, apparently.
Wow.
where it says containment structure.
Even the cooling
verdict.
tower is a container.
Comedy of errors from Simon Dan. It's the second in a row where he's made himself look foolish.
Chocolate, your timing is excellent.
I
Did you like
tried.
your song? You like your
I
song,
walked
Chocolate?
it. Yeah. That was cool. It was a good beat.
Thank you for finding it, Righteous. That's it. That concludes housekeeping.
No, I missed all of it.
Let's ask Zender directly. Hey, Zender, why is the horizon in the Black Swan photo beyond where the horizon should be? Could you please explain?
Where should it be? And what photo?
Oh, please.
Okay. Can someone post the Black Swan picture in live stream Discord, please?
Oh, those oil stations, which look like pirate boats.
Don't worry about the oil platforms. It's the horizon you're being asked about.
Huh. But those look like pirate boats.
Let's try it again. Let's not worry about the platform hill house. Let's worry about the horizon. That was what the question was about.
Oh, that photo. Okay. the Paul Hall photo. Okay. Yes, those look like pirate boats. 100%.
Last
Fine.
chance.
Is there
Last
fine?
chance.
Is there a
Last
horizon
chance. Then
behind
he's
it?
not going to take part in the conversation anymore. We're asking you about the physical geometry of your sphere belief and why a physical obstruction has been projected where it cannot be, debunking any notion that it is actually a physical sphere edge.
Which edge? Like one of
It's not what I asked.
edges?
It's not what I asked. Do you want to ask your question again, Paul?
Like the one of my song, like my sphere that has 3 edges.
Yeah, you're not going to take part in the conversation anymore. Yeah, so your
No.
rebuttal to this is to joke because you haven't got the slightest clue about the argument or the rebuttal. You haven't got a rebuttal, so you're going to sing us a little song instead. Excellent. This is your representation, Globers. We've just spent the last half an hour pointing out that you've got no rebuttal to this, and Zinda comes along and sings you a song as a rebuttal. You should all be ashamed of yourselves. The Earth's not a sphere. It's been debunked. There is no response. A song isn't going to wash.
Well, unless it's a swan song.
Boom, boom! Yeah, get used to this. Long, protracted silences after we point out how they've got no response to the Black Swan argument. You say there's quite a few fundies in the Discord server?
Yeah, there was a few that I checked when I looked at it a minute ago. They might have disappeared by now, but there was some earlier.
Have you all been contacting your priests about this? I do hope so.
Virus?
So, what confessional did they go to contact their priest, Nathan?
Father, I have sinned. I have loomed the horizon above the horizon.
For looming, you must do 100 Hail Marys.
I don't know. Doesn't work.
Thank you.
Virus isn't here. He's usually chiming up. What's his explanation?
I like Sean Hawkins' explanation. He says, Nathan Oakley, there are no white swans. Doesn't even understand the analogy.
What?
There is no spoon. Sean.
That's great.
I've got to admit, I actually watch a bit of Sean Hawkins. Me and my wife watch him. Because he's so dumb, it really amuses both of us greatly, watching his stupidity. Because he contradicts himself in one sentence quite frequently. So he'll say something that literally contradicts himself. For example, he said something about science not needing to be natural. Then he goes to the definition of science and reads out about how it's got to be natural. It's just brilliant. I mean, it's really funny. You've got to watch Sean Hawkins. It's just funny as fuck. Because he's so thick. And that really does cheer me up of a day. Shout out to Alexander. El heliocentrismo es una religión. Viva el debate sobre el tierra plena el encanal de Nathan. Gracias. Really appreciate the super chat, Alexander. Sorry, I butchered the Spanish.
So,
that was the early bird.
oh yeah, sorry, I got distracted trying to read that.
So
My Spanish is
basically,
very rough. My early bird was great.
You talk about some
basically saying,
pretty
I
crazy
think,
shit. I had to turn you off because you were distracting me from setting up the show because of how crazy the show was.
Crazy the show.
Yeah.
Which part?
Well, you were talking about divining influence from what you then later labelled as God and asking for guidance and things of that nature, which I was like, this is a bit heavy on, isn't it? It's like only at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Really? Well, I watched the Bible series for a long period, so I was very inspired. But yeah, I do that.
The super chat said, to my best of my Spanish. The heliocentric is a religion. Hooray or viva the debate on the flat Earth plane in the Nathan Oakley channel, basically.
Cool. How do you? Anybody who's got a better knowledge of the Jewish faith than me? There's a word that sort of looks a bit like karate, but it isn't that word. What's the word? Anybody? I don't want to say karate Jews for Judaism, but there's a channel I've been watching recently. He's also a subscriber here, and he has some really good religious debates. So he had I don't know if it's accurate, but it was labelled as neo-Nazi Christian versus pacifist Jew or something like that. That was the one I watched this morning, and I've also watched the channel owner himself debate against various other Christians about the Jewish faith. Yesterday it was about the legitimacy of Jesus Christ actually being the Son of God. Now, while I don't necessarily agree with either side of the argument, I don't have a horse in that race particularly, it's still a fascinating conversation to watch. So check it out. If I could say his name, I'm going to say it the wrong way. Karate Jews. I'm really sorry for saying your name wrong. But shout out to you. I'll look it up just so I don't actually get it left out there incorrectly.
I know the guy you're talking about. You shared his channel once, right?
Is it not true,
Yeah.
right? There's no-
It's spelled K-A-R-A-I-T-E. Karite? Is that right? Karite Jews for Judaism is the name of the channel. Karite. There you go. Yeah, check him out. Stick a link to his channel in the live stream.
Sometimes it's even spelled with a Q and not a K.
Yeah, spelled with a K.
No, but I say sometimes it's also spelled with a Q instead of a K.
With a Q.
Yeah.
Okay. There he is anyway. I've stuck his link in the live stream chat if you want to go and check him out.
Yeah, I saw some of his flat Earth videos way back in the day.
When you hear a Jew and a Christian arguing, it's really quite fascinating because a lot of their sources are the same, which to me is quite fascinating. It's just the different interpretations that people have about the exact same text. Truly fascinating.
Yeah.
Like we do with the ballers about the same Earth.
Yeah, but we're typically dealing with scientific evidence. It's a lot more cut and dry here than it is for him.
Yeah,
When I went into his chat, he had mentioned that he gets a lot of hate because there are not, according to him, there are not a lot of Jews that are openly flat Earth out there. So he said he does get a lot of hate for it. It's like so, but he is a big fan of the show, and I told him. He said he would try to get on one day. He said he didn't know how, so I told him to get Discord and see if he can find a way to get on. So we'll see if he can one day.
I don't know the guy's name, but he certainly seems to know his stuff. And in the debates he has in a religious context, they're always really, what's the word? Polite, well-mannered, nicely structured. Things like that. Anybody else seen any good channels recently? Well, I'm going to shout out Anaconda Malt Liquor then, who's at 963 subscribers. So very close to the magical 1,000 subscriber mark. So he's also one of my channel members, he's a lion. But check out Anaconda Malt Liquor 17. Go and subscribe to him. Hopefully we can get him or her. I don't actually know if it's him or her. But get him up to 1,000 subscribers.
I'm on my way to do that.
Shout out to the name Anaconda Malt Liquor. I like that.
Anaconda Malt Liquor 17. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll shout out. I'll shout out the Mike Helmick channel. I've been a long follower of him. He's a flat earther Christian.
Mike who?
Helmick.
Oh, Mike Helmick. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his.
Gleam from the chat. Have you seen Simon Dunn's new video? I've debunked his second point, as it is 100% barrel distortion that he is touting as curve. Curve of what, though, Gleam? I'll come back to that. But I have a science paper which shows impossible. Fair enough. I had this argument yesterday. Go on, Flatsoid.
All he did was he took a photo of the T, and then he compressed the photo from left to right. And then he calls it T. It's got curve.
Right. It's a bit like Red Rhetoric did when Ranty caught him.
Exactly. It's just
Shout out to
barrel
Emma UK
distortion,
for the
nothing
super
more.
chat. So yesterday, Gleam, I don't know if you caught the show, but Paul brought up the same thing. So we just not yesterday, the day before yesterday. We're discussing with a chap called Richard his claim that high altitude SR-71 pilots see Earth curve. Now, the argument then from Paul's perspective was to say, well, no, what they're seeing is essentially the same as you're saying, barrel distortion or lens distortion. But my argument was barrel distortion or lens distortion of what? The not actual location where the sky appears to meet the ground that they claim is a physical edge? Because if it's physically bending and you're seeing the edge of the sphere, then you're seeing the edge of the sphere bending. But that's not what the horizon is. It's as described, although it wasn't aired in the live show, on the pre-show, subscribe today to Nathan Oakley channel, link below. We were discussing exactly that, how you've got this hijacking of a not actual location that violates the law of non-contradiction and the law of identity. It cannot be both a not actual location and a physical edge of a sphere. So if you're looking at something and claiming it's bending, you're essentially admitting that that's a physical edge for boats to go over and obscure buildings and to bend at 80,000 feet or whatever height he says. Well, no, it isn't a physical edge. We don't have a physical sphere edge. The not actual location. Not that I'm moaning at you, Gleam, but, I just think we need to move on past saying, well, no, it's not bending, it's barrel distortion. It's like, what are we claiming is or isn't bending? A not actual location. A not physical edge. Debunked. No longer capable of being claimed to be a physical, actual location. We don't live on a sphere with an edge obstructing things. The horizon is not a sphere edge. So I don't care what anybody says in regards to horizon and rising to altitudes that I don't care. Not an actual location. Horizon dropping when you rise in altitude from the other side of the argument. Don't care. Not an actual location. Horizon bending at 120,000 feet, but actually that stuff is flat. No, don't care. You're talking about a not actual location.
Hello?
I was enjoying the sounds of
Silent.
zero rebuttals coming our way. But go ahead, Armin.
No, I just wonder, it's so really silent. I'm not used to this. Like, was Thursday yesterday so heavy that everybody's being so silent today?
Paula in chat's asking, what is the image on the screen that's currently being viewed?
It's the Isle of Man overhead view. So we had a LiDAR scan that was then Blender rendered into that particular image. So the centre dot is Anthony Riley, Sleeping Warrior, at St. Bees. Let's just pause it. This is St. Bees. This is a distance of 31 miles to this point. This point here is where Macord Lighthouse is. This is the north end of the Isle of Man. The reason it's sort of sketched out is because it's very low to sea level. And these are the slightly higher lands on the Isle of Man. So this is the floaty land that Anthony saw, this section here. This section here would be the Macord Lighthouse, and as you pan left in the image, you're looking further and further down, apparently further and further over the curve as you look at greater and greater distances. But it's like, I described it as like looking like an almond. But yeah, this is St. Bees, that's the Isle of Man. The overhead model. Overhead view of the Blender model.
Well, you know what? In a way, this whole issue about the horizon and the horizon, right? Them calling it the globe edge, as it were, or presuming that that effect, that visual effect, is a geometrical element, is the biggest misconception in the first place. You know, it's not, because it would be more likely to just call it the edge of the hill, because that is what it would be like looking over a hill. But the horizon effect, that's just completely separate.
Yeah, that's how I
It is not a geometrical feature. So yeah, the joke is, yeah, what's that horizon doing behind the horizon? But the joke is that it's not possible. The first supposed horizon is a fictional creation in the first place.
Exactly. I had to explain it to my wife yesterday with the difference between the horizon and a geometric location. So I said to her, if you're at the bottom of a hill and you're looking at the top of the hill, this is actually the starting point of this is an Anthony Riley example. So you're looking at the top of the hill and your mate's house is just on the other side of the hill. Is there ever a circumstance where you see your mate's house appearing to seem like it's at the top of the hill, projected up from behind the hill? Well, that's their explanation for looming. Now take that one step further and say, have you ever been at the bottom of a hill, looked at the top edge of the hill, not only seen your mate's house projected up, but the top of the hill behind the house that's projected up to the top of the hill?
Yeah. Exactly. Doesn't happen.
Can't happen, it's a geometric impossibility. This breaks the globe.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's why we've got all this silence. There's no response to this.
Say
I
that
don't think there ever
slower
will be.
one more time, Nathan, just so it could sink in. That was beautiful.
Say again.
Say that analogy that you shared with your wife one more time, but slower. So it was so beautiful. I want everyone to just enjoy it again.
Fine. You're standing and you're looking at the top of a hill. You can see the crest of the hill from your viewpoint. On the other side of the hill, beyond your view, because there's a hill in the way, is your friend's house. Now, the assertion that we have looming is the assertion that that house projects itself up to sit at the top edge of the hill. So you can see the house, you can see the hill in the way, but the house can still be seen even though there's a hill in the way. That would be the explanation that they use when they say 7/6R looming has bought this lighthouse, oil rig, clock, whatever, from beyond the hill, behind the earth curve, the same principle. Well, if you then take that one step further, you then have your mate's house projected up to the top edge of the hill that you can see, but the hill that you can see is now behind the house that's projected up. Nonsense. Can't happen. Geometric impossibility. That's what they've currently got with this black swan. There's no rebuttal to it. It's an impossibility. Looming doesn't
Whoever's
solve the problem.
typing, we could hear you.
Sorry.
So there we go.
Excellent. Excellent, Nathan. Excellent.
Ian Adams says, does the hill loom? Crying, laughing face. No. The hill's the obstruction that the building behind is apparently loomed up to. That's what looming is. Even though they don't ever prove it, they claim it. But that doesn't solve the problem of a horizon being beyond where it's supposed to be obscuring. You can't loom the horizon above the horizon.
Hey Nathan, maybe the problem could be solved by just pouring a lot of methane on that hill. Maybe it'll work then. And if it turns out it doesn't, you can always just light a fire after.
I'm going to slightly paraphrase Gourdzilla's super chat. It says, I saw the horizon looming over the horizon, looming over the horizon, looming over the horizon, looming over the horizon, till I finally saw my own backside. Well, I would add, with a horizon behind it.
This can be a
We
comedy
already
show.
we already got infinite refraction. Soon we're gonna get infinite looming. It's just around the corner.
I like the dude in the background laughing his head off.
Chocolate, did you put that laugh track on purpose?
Yeah, that was great.
It's like he works at a pub or something.
Nah, man. We just have fun at work.
That's good to hear.
No, it's more than infinite refraction, so you can see around the globe eternally. So it's like looking in a mirror, mirroring in on itself, but slightly different, and you can just see your backside forever, looking over the curve. Or maybe
It's
it's
like
just
mirror
rectangular
feedback.
looping, and you're just looking in a straight line forever. I don't know. You pick.
Go ahead, globosexual.
No, I just said sorry. It's like mirror feedback. That's what Arlen was trying to say, I think.
Not really. Video feedback's something else, but yeah.
And I said mirror feedback.
Mirror feedback.
That's what it's called. That's what it's called when two mirrors face each other, and you see that like that infinite sort of mirror like thing, whatever that illusion is.
Sure, I knew
It's
what we were
called
talking about.
mirror feedback.
I was more having a
Or
dig
when you present your own YouTube page.
I was more having a dig at the more than or greater than if you're Ruhif. Infinite. Greater than infinite? Fascinating terminology, that.
Ooh. According to Ivan Van Veen, I need to give him a course about Euclidean geometry. Interesting.
Why?
Well, Nathan, I just did a real basic pencil sketch of your description of Anthony's hill. And basically, if the hill between you and your friend's house is blocking your friend's house, and we'll call that hill A. And then, according to them, the house is loomed. And then that same hill A is behind the house. Then that means we have reverse looming, according to them.
Well, you've just made that term up, but yes, maybe.
That's ridiculous in itself. They would have to go there. They would have to say it's a reverse hill looming appearance.
Don't give them too many ideas.
No, it's okay. They can't demonstrate it. But the whole point is that's how crazy they're going to go. It's like Zinder came on. He had to be on some medication to even talk about it so he could forget how he can't defend it. He sounded like he was on something.
Hi, is this Flat Earth Debate?
It is?
Yes. Hey, Chris.
Hey, is Chris Globehead here?
Hey, Chris
Oh,
Globehead.
no. Get out.
What's going on, guys?
Good to have you.
What's up, Chris?
Hey, I haven't been here in a while, Nathan. I thought I'd join him on my way to work, but I do listen still, of course. I do jump on Jose's every once in a while or wherever. I've been on Ranty's once recently just to talk some things. But yeah, so I just wanted to add a couple things that you guys mostly talk about, but you know, from my perspective of kind of an outsider as far as this show goes. But you know, the double talk lately, the walkbacks is just for me the most telling part of recent, you know, discussions around like, well, for example, the Horizon talk of, you know, 2-3 years ago, Horizon's a physical location, it's there, we see it, you know, it's the edge of the sphere. They're all walking that back and saying, oh, no, it's always been, you know, an apparent horizon and it's an optical phenomenon. Of course, it all depends on your height and this and that. But I guarantee if you pulled up, you know, Rumpus talking about it, even just say 6 months ago, a year ago, you know, it's the bleeding edge of the sphere. So the walk back that they have to do with these observations of like the 1 foot at 10 mile platform stuff, right? They realize that they can no longer keep the same tired old, you know, yeah, it's the edge. That's it, man. That it's physical. It's right there. Just look at it. They can't do that anymore. So those have been really fun for me to listen to and just listen to them get pummeled.
Yeah, claiming it's the Matrix because it doesn't match their model. this photo isn't real, it's just in a computer simulation. No, it's a photo of a reality that we actually experience. This was part of a video. No, my model's real. We're on a globe. The fact this picture doesn't match my computer simulation means the picture's the computer simulation, it's the Matrix.
I haven't heard the Matrix argument yet, but I think I heard Chocolate say someone said that the other day. So if that's true, that's just
Rumpus.
Hilarity and insanity at the same time.
Rumpus appreciates that he's got an argument. We could pick out any number of debates from number 70 to number 200, where he's very much describing the physicality of the edge that's blocking the lighthouse in the distance. Now, it's very much a physical edge back in those debates. Now it's probably the Matrix because it doesn't match my model. Because at least Rumpus appreciates that he knows he's got a physical edge he's got to reify, and it can't do that. So he's just going to say, oh, well, alternative isn't that it's changed the R value, isn't that it's super looming infinite more than refraction, it's the Matrix. Because there isn't an explanation for it. All the people who watch Rumpus, like, for example, Dawn Treader, or whatever Rumpus says, well, Rumpus says it's the Matrix because he hasn't got an answer. So they all look to Rumpus to see what his explanation is. And he hasn't got one. Oh, well, he could take his Matrix explanation. You're all just in a virtual reality, fundies. Because your model in a computer doesn't match a photo reality.
Hey, Chris, if you go to Ranty's channel, he's got it. It's a 2-hour, 45-minute debate between Rumpus, Ranty, and Sleeping Warrior. And just scroll to the last 15 minutes. That's where he says it's the Matrix because he's just dying.
Okay, yeah, I haven't heard that. I'll check that out. But it's been fun, right? I think it's been fun for all of us listening and participating in some of the certain shows and things, talking about it. I was on Sean G's the other day, and like I say, I'm in my car driving, so I can't present visuals, but we've all seen the picture of what looks like the floaty boat, right? And they say, oh, look, it's looming. And it's that sailboat kind of in the distance on the ocean, and it looks like it's floating, right? But we've all seen it. We've all analyzed it. We've all seen the analysis by Mick West even. So we know that it's not really looming or even Fata Morgana. It's just the fact that you can't see, quote unquote, the top of the horizon of the water because it's been refracted or mirrored right on the sky. We've all seen that photo. So I was on Sean G's and you had Stingray on there, supposed 3D expert and picture image expert. You had Sean, you had all these ballers of Druss, all these people on there saying against me, saying, look, this is looming. This boat is behind the curve, but it's loomed up. Like, oh, what are you saying, Chris, that it's floating? And I was like, well, no, it's just, I explained the same thing, it's the refracted sky is refracted on the water, or it's mirrored, or I said, honestly, I really don't even know how this effect works, guys, but that's basically what's happening. And we went on for 10 or 15 minutes, and they were just ribbing me about being wrong. I'm so stupid. Like, of course that's looming. Like, what are you saying? So then I sent them the Mick West debunk analysis, and even Mick West says, no, it's just, he does the color inversions where you can see the, what appears to be the hard horizon, and the color inversions even, which is way behind the boat, kind of like the latest platform image. And Sean finally admitted, oh, okay, well, yeah, this isn't looming. You're right, Chris. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, did they really say the boat's behind the curve? Because you could clearly see maybe not clear, but you can see the horizon in the back.
Right.
What's wrong with these guys, man? Get a grip, guys.
They don't want to see it. You can see it, and that even in that image without color inversions, you can see it. It's not super clear. It's not even as clear as the platform video, but you can see it. They just don't want to see it. They can't see it because it destroys their model. Then they have to go to a refracted model or a special call it model, and it's just
infinite refraction, bro. Greater than infinite refraction. That's where we're at.
Right.
Next time it'll be greater than infinite super mega refraction.
So I might make a quick video on that, just showing the double speak and about how they were so confident that I was wrong and they're right, and they've analyzed it and they know it. And then within 5 minutes, I show them the Mick West analysis, and they have to walk back everything that they said. It's pretty funny.
Oops. Yeah, if you watch QE's last, I think it was the Globe Killer, the latest edition of it. He goes over that Mick West photo with the looming, and you can see how the horizon is in the back. And I mean, it's a joke. These guys
Right.
don't even know their left from their right anymore.
Are you talking about the collector's edition, Chocolate?
Thank you. Yes, that's the one.
Yeah, it does wonders for our blood pressure, because we're obviously nice and calm, or as I put it in the pre-show, sitting pretty, because we've got an undebunkable globe demolition under our belt now. But it doesn't really make for great conversation when there is no response, because we just sit here with, like, protracted silences, pointing out they've got nothing. I mean, I don't mind that.
They're scrambling to come up with something, so it's short-lived, the silence. It's enjoyable right now, but it'll get busy soon.
Sure, it's the calm before the storm, before they come up with a new heliocentric smear of bullshit, an adjustment to their calculation that says, no, this is a new effect we've now discovered within our model that explains it perfectly.
Well, it's already happening on Discord. When I took the same argument that QE presented to Discord, and everyone saw it in the context in which QE presented it, the Globers were willing to change their radius at that moment.
We'll just make it a bigger globe. No problem. We can make the globe physically bigger. Just stick a pump in the ground and inflate it.
And then
Yeah, chocolate was there. The chocolate was there, and it's easy for me to say what happened. But let me give you the way it happened, because it's very telling. So this is the guy. He's saying, "Okay, so we got our model wrong. So it's bigger than what it is. We'll just change our model."
Model Mark II. Mark 1 was just wrong. We said that was what Earth was, but now we've got the new version. That's what Earth is. And if that's wrong, we'll change it to Mark III, and that'll be what Earth is. Problem being that there's a point to the radius value. None of the other measurements and claimed to be proofs, the interplanetary motion measurements, none of that works anymore if you change R. So you can't just change R.
Well, that's why MC Toon has the pseudoscientist with the pseudoscientist statement says, well, science doesn't prove anything. It just proves what's wrong.
But if you change the size, the radius of Earth, won't that just push the whole model out of clonk? Nothing will work.
Well, you miss the violation of law of non-contradiction. MC Toon says it doesn't prove anything, but then he says in the same sentence, it proves what it isn't. So it does prove something.
Yeah, but that is MC for you, though.
Yeah,
That sounds like the world is flat and it's a globe. That's what that sounds like to me.
Well, that makes it even worse. We were talking, Adam and I and QE, and we just dwelled on the comment. So the comment is, science doesn't prove things. Okay, so the great minds that you refer to all the time came up with a method how not to prove something. Is that what you're saying?
Why don't we just go back like a couple years or a year or two when they were saying there's all this science for the globe? Science proves that we live on a globe. Yeah. That we heard that a whole lot. All of a sudden, things done changed.
You don't need to rewind, Chocolate. Just listen to MC Toon talk after he said that statement with Adam. Then he went and referenced science.
Well, MC Toon is so much times trying to give me an hypothesis for gravity, and every time he doesn't give me an hypothesis and says it isn't an hypothesis.
Let me make it plain for the ballers. This is what took place. My dad is always wrong, but I went to my dad for advice, and he was right.
That's actually very good.
Share your pain, fundies.
Did Make West, did you guys hear Make West explanation about if you're too close to the, let's say, ground, there's like more refraction or something? Here, let me share something. Like, I found something on Gem Pandas. I'm gonna share it quick.
Okay, while you're doing that, just shout out light energy. What distance limit of looming will flat earthers accept? Looming doesn't explain the horizon being in a different position. You can't loom the horizon above the horizon, so there is no limit. In previous terms, they'd apply whatever limit brought something beyond the curve back, but that isn't applicable here. They've already applied, or tried to apply, more than infinite looming. More than infinite, according to Ruhif.
Right, and so on the Mick West calculator, you're right. It says, you know, at some point they added the note, "Oh, can't do these observations." I forget how they word it. It's kind of worded weirdly, like close to the horizon, which doesn't
Not
really
applicable.
make sense.
Not applicable for observations close to the horizon. Well, what, their model doesn't work when we take a picture close to the horizon? Well, you can just paraphrase that. Their model doesn't work. So when they say, oh, well, this picture's not applicable, yeah, it is. It's still a picture. I can take a picture from wherever I like, whenever I like. The fact that your model doesn't work with it is irrelevant to me because we don't live on your model. I can still take a picture, though, from very low to the ground. What's that? It breaks your model, so we're not going to apply those to your model. Oh, right. So your model doesn't work.
But the thing is, they have like an excuse, but they can't even explain it. Basically, if you have my screen up, it says the closer they are, the less accurate it is. The problem is it's quite complicated, so you can't really give a simple explanation. You just have to believe, I guess.
Oh, right. So they can apply refraction without any measurements being applied, but then when something doesn't work in their model, they just leave a disclaimer that it doesn't work, and we have to accept it because it's very complicated. No, I press the shutter on my camera and it takes a picture. Nothing complicated about it. I don't have to compare it to any models. I don't have to worry about why the models don't work or the disclaimers about why the model doesn't work. I just look at the picture. That's it. What's that? You must compare the pictures to your model, and we must accept that because the model doesn't work with these pictures, that the model's pictures analysis is suddenly irrelevant. No, irrelevant to us. Completely irrelevant. To you, it just should tell you your model doesn't work. To me, I don't care what your model says. Or that your model points out it doesn't work.
Yeah, you see, the problem is the observation just kills their model, so they have to come up with something.
Well, it's more.
That sounded to me like a blatant concession of we just don't have an explanation for what's going on.
Yeah, it's more of the walk back that I was mentioning earlier. It's oh look, here's our model, it works, and then we find something that doesn't work, and now they're having to add disclaimer after disclaimer after disclaimer on they're amending their model. And then by the way, I'm not sure. I think that was Righteous Force who was talking. I'm not sure, but even if that's the case, even if you went by that rule, the can't be close to the horizon or out low to the ground. There's another observation of those same platforms at 35 feet. That shows this, a similar result as far as the horizon being too far. So if they then say, well, 35 feet isn't high enough, right? Then it's just, at what point are you going to stop obfuscating and changing your models? It's insanity. So, by the way, guys, I have to go. Thanks for letting me speak a little bit, Nathan. And I'll talk to you guys later.
Pleasure having you.
Later.
Hey, Ranty.
Hello. How is everyone?
So, Ranty?
Hey, it's all good. Is Tony been in?
Hold on, Fuzzy Ewok's trying to get a word in. He's on mute.
We have to go to ludicrous refraction.
Ludicrous refraction.
Standard refraction is much too low. We gotta go straight to ludicrous refraction.
We've already got a quite embarrassing term for it. Greater than infinite refraction. Greater than.
Thanks for putting a wrap on with ludicrous, though.
Ah, boom, boom.
Wow.
Greater than infinite over
I asked someone the
6.
other day in the Discord. It's like if somehow someone was able to see New York from Paris, would someone then just say, no, that's just super ridiculous, extreme nonsense? At what point does it get too
You'll never see England from Paris. Number one, because there's a couple of countries in the way, but if it was possible, because I know what you're saying. I'm just being facetious. If you could see them, which you can't, because they're too small. So no, you're never going to have atmospheric conditions.
If we somehow came up with a picture, they would just say, "Oh no, that's extreme, ludicrous."
Probably.
Yeah, like that was just how many miles does it have to take to someone to say, "Oh no, I guess."
Well, infinite. We had this a couple of years ago. With the right amount of zoom and the clear enough day, you can see your own arse in a telescope, which is to say they will bring your own arse back from behind you with looming if they need to. Infinite looming's already been applied. I mean, I'm glad everyone's got a grasp of this, but the newest argument is not a draw anymore. We no longer need to listen to their nonsense about infinite looming and seeing your own arse in a telescope to justify things that you shouldn't see in their model. That's no longer necessary. The horizon is their geometric starting point. It's a physical sphere that we're supposed to be living on. Now, if that physical sphere edge is no longer where it's supposed to be, it isn't a physical edge. You can't loom the horizon above the horizon. So looming isn't a get-out for this argument anymore. The argument ends here. Now, I'm certain that lots of people haven't appreciated that yet. But this is the death of the globe. It ends here. There's no mathematical get-out. There's no, well, how much looming, which is what we're being asked, like the most recent super chatter, I think it was Light Energy, is asking exactly the same thing as you. Well, how much looming can we apply? Well, no, we're at the point where they're having to apply more than infinite over 6R because they can't answer the question. But the infinite over 6R, as ludicrous as it might seem, they're only giving us that so we can focus on it. Oh, it's stupid, so that they get back to the draw argument. Well, you're just applying infinite over 6R now. It's got ridiculous. But that isn't a rebuttal. And I want people who are watching this to appreciate that. Them just going to the nth degree with refraction doesn't address this problem.
Yeah, I just want to say that me and Tony are working on something that might also help FE in the coming months and years. We're working on something that's clearly going to debunk Soundly's work, but it's without question very, very obvious to see once we've put it all together and we've formulated these not just ideas, but also what the Globers would consider their own proofs and using it in their proofs with their observations and stuff, and how we can turn Soundly's work into actually flat Earth proofs. There we go.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Would you show that meme you made earlier?
Which one's
It's
that?
smart because even their own versions of their model don't even work. Like from the inside out, they have no leg.
The one I put in the Hangouts.
Must be, yeah. Must be.
Okay, one sec. That will be this one. If I can get it on the center of the screen so that you can all see. There you go.
I was just thinking about the ludicrous refraction. Somebody needs to come up with a meme from Lord Helmet from Spaceballs doing ludicrous, how they said ludicrous speed and doing the plaid and making it refraction or something like that. That would be funny if somebody could do that. I'm not good at memes, but that would be good.
What, they're going the flat?
I didn't understand your question. What?
You wanted the meme, right? So they're not going the plat, they're going the flat.
Oh, yeah. The ludicrous refraction. At a ludicrous speed.
Another quick shout out to Alexander, who says, to all flat earthers who are into debating with Globers. I'll just move my screen around so it's a bit more pretty. To all flat earthers who are into debating with Globers, have you ever felt guilty for pushing them over the edge into some kind of mental illness? ? Don't feel sorry. It's their own choice. Thank you very much for the super chat, Alexander. getting a few comments about your show today, Arwin. Darkman says, Arwin's show today, crying face.
Sorry, what? I just finished lunching pretty much.
Same comment I made earlier, but someone from the chat made the same point that your show is a bit wacky today. Not wacky, a bit out there.
I don't see why people have a problem with it.
I didn't say I got a problem.
What's wacky about it? I just described things, some of which are about, intuitive decision making and all that. So, yeah, it's a bit ethereal. That's not wacky.
Okay, wrong word. My bad.
Well, compared to sports and weather, everything we're talking about is wacky.
Right. So Brandon says, how is this picture possible should be the first question you ask any baller who comes on the show. Right on. I mean, it's been incorporated into the housekeeping question. Any evidence of a physical geometric edge? So yeah, it's definitely part of the questions we're asking now on a regular basis, Brandon. Thank you very much for the super chat.
That's if any ballers would come on there.
Say again, Flatzoid?
That's if any ballers would dare to come on there.
Well, not with Rumpus telling us the only answer's the Matrix. What have they got to give us? Jokes about the sphere edge?
The best part is that's come from Rumpus, who I think for most of them are regarded as one of the best they got. And to him, it's the Matrix. That's the only explanation for what's going on in that picture. Awesome. Enjoy that, ballers.
And with that, I'll say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley 1980 Live, then this is where we bid you farewell. A huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Da-da-dun, da-da-dun.
We're very lively today.
Yeah, it's a bit quiet, isn't it?
It's like you said, it's the calm before the storm. They're scrambling because they're stuck because of the black swan, and they're trying to figure out what strategy to use when they come on. And they're right now in the trial and error mode, and they're practicing with themselves on the arguments, and they can't they can't seem to get it right now. Maybe another week, who knows?
9 months.
Because there's no white swan.
That was great. I mean, Sean Hawkins over the last couple of days has just been brilliant. So much fun.
Oh, he's triggered all right. Did you see half his comments don't actually get published because they actually get filtered out, but I've seen him spamming it over and over.
Yeah, every comment had my name tagged in it.
Oh, he's so triggered.
I know.
It's a shame we can't get him on. It's a shame we can't get him on cam to do his little rage again, you know, where he shakes the tree or something, you know.
Hey!
Get him hugging a tree and shaking it and trying to, you know, doing his little scream. That'd be pretty cool.
All swans are white. I love it.
Well, I gotta go. Cheers, guys. Chat tomorrow.
All right, bro.
See you later, Flatzoid.
Later.
There will be a second show after this after show.
Ooh. Oh, really? Okay, cool.
You mean, oh no, I'm not going to get to bootleg as soon as I thought.
Oh no, I'm not going to bootleg. Ooh. I do have a bootleg saved though. I have a bootleg saved, so I can.
Very
I can
wise.
do that whenever.
Very wise. Did you have a think?
From when?
Did you have a think on what I said about having a set schedule?
Yeah, I was thinking about sort of like Monday to Friday doing sort of like 10 o'clock-ish, 10 o'clock till midnight, 10 o'clock till 12:30. You know, I think that would be pretty good. We can have either or. I can do chit chats, I could do after shows, or I could do debates, I could do presentations, you know, so whatever. Basically, I've got like a whole bunch of things that I can do in those 5 days. Need the people to come in with the presentations more than anything. That's what I want to get down to. I want people to turn up with presentations. That's what I want to see.
Why give yourself such an arduous schedule, though?
Well, it's just that look, if I'm not staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning, it's not too bad. But if I stay up till midnight, 12:30, well, that's a normal time that I go to bed. And the missus, she's always in bed between 9 and 10, so I can stay up. You know, it's not like it's you know, that I have to, you know, stay up on. It's either that anyway. I'd just be awake anyway. I would always be awake, so it's just time that I have free that I can do it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say it's an arduous schedule, you know, because you know, if people are doing a presentation, it's not like I'm doing a lot of work, apart from when it comes down to the cross-examination. But essentially, they're doing the presentation.
Just a lot of content to produce.
Well, if you add it up, it's only what, 10 hours a week? How many are you doing?
Far more.
14?
Yeah, I mean, I started about 1 o'clock each day for the actual show, and then finish at about 4:30, something like that. Once I've published it all, stuck it on the website, put it in playlists, re-rendered it onto the second channel, all that sort of stuff. Then I'm on to the second show. So, I mean, most of my waking life is dedicated to YouTube, Ranty. I've got to be honest.
There's a good portion of it too that I do as well.
Exactly.
I'm on your show, and then also I'm doing my own research as well, and stuff. It's just a full-time job, isn't it, Nathan? Let's be honest.
Well, yeah, basically. Well, it's certainly my full-time job.
Owen's only a part-timer though.
Is that what you're intending to do then? Go full-time on YouTube? Is that your intention?
Oh, no. It's not, no. But it just means that I do have time of the evening to actually do these shows. So what I would normally do during the day, you know, when I'm working and stuff, I can still go out and do my observations, come home, make videos and stuff. But after 10 o'clock at night, you know, I don't sleep till about 1 o'clock anyway. So I've got a 3-hour time window there where I don't have any constraints on me. You know, I've got, you know, the missus goes to bed between 9 and 10. So why not? I've got 3 hours spare. It's 3 hours spare. I could watch either a TV program or I can do a live stream. So it just makes sense to do that. Because it is something that I'm more interested in this subject than I am in watching TV. So.
Oh, I completely agree. I haven't watched TV in years. Much rather watch my own show.
Listen to your own voice.
Well, not in that kind of vain phrasing, but yeah, I suppose.
Here, let me jump in. I listen to the show not to hear myself, but to get what I missed by being an observer of the show versus a panel member. And it's quite a difference when you come in the second time and rehear the show. You pick up so many nuances you missed.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not in mute anymore. Okay.
Not the what?
Oh, I just realized that I'm not on mute anymore. Good.
What's up,
yeah,
Cinder?
so there's a lot to miss, 10th man. You really have to get everything and write it down for future generations. So much importance.
I do. I keep a notebook, especially when you talk.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm not often here, but I mean, you have to show it to your children when the truth is revealed to the world. This will be an historical moment. The show. the flat Earth debate.
Why are you saying it's sarcastic?
So many historical moments.
Yeah, but I detect the tone of sarcasm. What gives?
Oh no, not at all.
I don't need to write it down when somebody
he
like
has to.
Brenda says a shoe is a natural phenomenon, and then somebody like Zinder will come in way afterwards and defend it. I could just save that to memory and tell it to my kids then. I don't need to write it down. It's good stuff.
I
Well,
like
chocolate,
Zinder.
you could always come for me for the citation.
I think
Haven't you ever seen birds like making their own little shoes, like they make nests, bird nests?
Oh, birds make shoes now.
Yeah, like out of little grass halms and sticks. They make their own little shoes.
My shoe is a nest.
Haven't you seen them?
So you're saying
I
my
want-
shoe is a nest?
I want Zinder to answer my question.
No.
I'm sorry. He needs to answer my question.
What?
Hang on, Paul. Zinder said my shoe is a nest. Can you show me a nest with laces and Velcro, please?
Yeah, let me just draw you one for a moment. Oh no, I haven't anything to draw. Sorry. Gonna have to show you tomorrow, so or another time.
We'll wait with bated breath while you answer Paul's question. Yeah, Paul.
Why is the horizon past the oil rigs when under your model the horizon should be 1.2 miles away from the observer? Can you please explain?
1.2 miles. That's really a short distance.
Yes, the observation was 1 foot off the water, and under the geometric globe, the horizon should be 1.2 miles away. So why is the horizon past the oil rig that is 9 miles away? Can you please explain?
Like you're saying like I have a model or so. That's kind of strange. Never had a model, but like I don't know.
Wait. That's okay. You don't have to have a model.
8.
What's the radius of the Earth? What's the radius, and what is the observer distance to the horizon? You tell me.
I don't know. It is claimed to be around 6,000 kilometers, but that's just a number.
Okay. That being said, how far should the horizon be at 1 foot observation under that measurement?
I don't know. I haven't measured it. I haven't measured it myself ever. The distance to the horizon always changes depending on weather conditions.
No, it's got geometry. Hold on. Don't you understand geometry?
So much geometry. Yes.
You just said, sorry. What do you mean it changes with the weather? No. Your sphere's got geometry. Don't you understand geometry?
Like edgy spheres, for example.
Well, like measuring stuff that's physical as opposed to not actual. You can't take measurements and do geometric measurements and calculations with non-physical locations. That's nonsense. The globe's got a physical edge that you measure with geometry. So why are you saying that the horizons are not actual location when your globe that you worship has a physical geometric edge?
Because the horizon isn't a point. It cannot be. That's why.
That's our fucking argument, you stupid dipshit. That's our argument. You've got a geometrical physical sphere edge in your reified globe religion. No, not a arbitrary position where it moves on weather. No, physical, geometrical. Not actual. That's our argument, not your argument. You're supposed to be proving it's blocking shit in the distance. Maybe you'd like to tell us about why these wind turbines are blocked from Earth curve, like we've had an argument specifically with you about. You telling us that the edge on screen is actually blocking the bottom of the wind turbines because it's a physical edge. Now you're telling me it changes with weather? Don't you understand geometry?
Can you show me the footage?
Don't you understand geometry?
Can you show me the footage?
Don't you understand geometry? Don't you understand geometry?
Stop arguing against walls, dude.
Don't you understand geometry, you stupid retard?
I'm not the one claiming that.
You're the one with the globe that's got geometry. You are claiming that. You're a globe head.
No.
Yeah. You've got a physical sphere edge. We have a not actual position where the sky appears to meet the ground. You have a physical geometry that it must adhere to. Don't tell me no. Yes. Your sphere's been debunked because it doesn't have a physical edge. Doesn't have physical geometry that you're measuring based on radius. It's debunked. Earth not a sphere. You saying it's a not actual location is our argument, you moron.
I'm telling you, no. Regarding the understanding of geometry, I'm not the one claiming that spheres have edges.
Oh, really? Well, what's blocking the bottom of the boat then, you fucktard? Not a sphere edge that's blocking the bottom of the boat. Not a sphere edge that you have argued blocks the bottom of the wind turbines. You've argued that. Do you want me to go and dig it out and then put this next to it while you're telling me spheres don't have edges? Well, you have come here and argued for a sphere edge. You, personally.
I never argued for it.
Yeah, you fucking did, you lying sack of shit. You've come here and argued that we've got an edge that's blocking turbines. You liar.
I don't recall.
I don't give a shit what you recall. My memory's not fucking hazy. You have argued for a sphere edge. Now you're using our argument like it's a not actual location. Yeah? You've argued that it blocks boats, turbines and buildings in the distance. You personally.
Spheres don't have edges, Nate.
Yeah, they fucking do, according to your geometry. Don't you understand geometry?
Do you know?
Do you not understand geometry? You're saying it's not got an edge. That apparently, according to your model, blocks buildings and boats go over and can be seen from certain altitudes. That's an edge. Don't you understand geometry? Moron.
Yeah, it's not a straw, man.
It is a straw man. You are straw
It's a geometric
all the time.
horizon, retard.
You are fucking straw manning.
Yeah, he's a shit for brains that doesn't understand geometry. The amount of times that globeheads have come here whilst telling me about the physical edge and telling me I don't understand geometry, now they're denying their own geometry of their own religion.
Yeah, they got to.
Yeah, they have
They got to. Zinder's a freaking full-on retard, man.
Well, let's just ask him. Let's ask him straight up right now on air. Zinder, what causes boats to disappear at the horizon? What causes that?
Oh, now you unmute me, right? Now you unmute me when it fits you. Fuck you.
Are you going to appeal to format or answer his fucking question, you dumb shit? We're asking you about geometry, something that we're charged with not understanding. Now you're denying your own physicality based on its geometry. He's asking you about that, and you're appealing to being muted.
It's not appealing. You muted me when
Yeah, you can fuck right off. You're not answering, you're distracting. You pathetic little weasel.
Let me ask it again.
We will go back.
Zinder, what causes the boats to disappear over the horizon?
What causes them? Like mist or things in the way or
Listen
anything.
to this idiot.
So not a sphere edge then. So the sphere that you think you live on's not blocking them then anymore. So we can just dispense with that stupid shitty argument that a physical sphere edge is blocking the boats. Because you don't believe that anymore, right, Zinder?
There is no fucking edge on a sphere.
Right, so that's our argument. Yeah, you're right. There is no physical sphere edge. We're not on a physical sphere. That's our argument, you dipshit.
No, we are. We are on a sphere.
Oh, what's blocking the bottom of the boats then?
Look, he's a retard, man.
What's blocking the bottom of the boats then, dipshit?
Several things, like...
What? Haze? A not actual location? Is that what's blocking them?
No, location.
You said haze. Why is the boats disappearing? Haze, weather. So not a sphere edge.
No edges.
So it's not being blocked by a sphere as claimed by your model then. Welcome to Flat Earth, Zinder.
No.
Yes. You've just said it's not a sphere edge blocking it and you don't have a sphere edge on your sphere. Yeah, you do. You don't understand geometry. Yeah, it should. It's supposed to be a physical edge. No, it's not. We're not on a sphere. End of argument.
My sphere.
My stuttering twattery.
No edges. No corners.
Zinder.
Only one.
Zinder.
Is that all you've got?
Yeah,
is that all you've got to say? No edges. Is that? Hold on, Chocolate. Is that all you've got? So when we ask what's blocking the boat, you say weather and haziness, not sphere edge.
Oh, now you unmute me again.
I haven't muted you at all, you stupid dick. You're back to appealing to this. I'm asking you what blocks the bottom of the boat. Your response is, oh, I'm unmuted again. Yeah, no shit, we can hear you. Obviously not muted. We hear you. So what's blocking the bottom of the boat?
You muted me before.
If the horizon's just an atmospheric effect, what's blocking the boat?
Just to make clear, you have...
Shut the fuck up. You're done.
He's done. He's a wanker. He's got no response other than to rumpus the shit out of the question over and over again. So it's not a physical sphere edge, according to Cinder, until we ask him what blocks the bottom of the boat.
Yes, he's finished. All he did was rumpus you while you were talking. We couldn't hear shit in here.
Of course, that's all they've got. They haven't got a rebuttal, but they can damn sure stop the question coming to them.
Yep. He's finished. He's a retard anyway.
Got plenty of examples.
Another Globey. It's over for you, idiots, right? It's your swan song. A friggin' black swan dive into the cement pond. Retards, it's over for you. As soon as this argument reaches critical mass, they're gonna pound your friggin' heads in with it. It's over.
Yeah. Like Cinder, their only option is to deny their own geometry. Oh, no. Spheres don't have edges. What's blocking the bottom of the boat? Rumpus, 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 rumpus. Yeah, you've got an edge, you stupid moron. You don't have to like it. It's just broken.
I like how his first response was missed.
Yeah.
So now it's missed and things going on in that. It's not the physicality of this globe that you think you live on. It's not a sphere edge, right? Because it doesn't have an edge, even though every single time you guys have come in here, you guys have argued that boats are disappearing because of something being obstructed by something physical. Now, all of a sudden, the argument has completely changed. And now you're telling us our argument that a horizon is in a parent position. It's adorable.
Yeah, isn't it cute?
I love it.
It is. It's cute. Their response is our debunking. That's their rebuttal. Oh, well, the horizon's not an actual location. So we win then. Yeah, that's our argument.
Hilarious. They're finished, man. Every one of them are done. They're done. Time to go home. It's your black swan song. That was your last time here. Time to go back to picking up cans along the side of the road. Supervised!
Before the Black Swan, the boats disappeared because they were going over the curve, the edge. Now, after the Black Swan, no, I think it's atmospheric conditions missed.
Yeah, Tim Osman's got an exhaustive list of excuses you can apply when you have to deny that it's caused by the Earth radius you presuppose is blocking the view. Now you can just go and claim all the things we've pointed out that could be alternatives to the single assumption of your Earth curve model obscuring things in the distance based on an R value. Yeah? Not so stupid a list now, is it? According to Zanuck and Cinder rather, we've got mist that's causing it. So the boats are going into the mist now. Oh, right. What we say. Not R, but could be the weather. Oh, the curve of the Earth, the edge, is dictated by the weather now, according to Cinder. Yeah, those are all our arguments, you stupid moron.
Well, what makes it even worse... Sorry, John.
It's baltards into the mist. Instead of gorillas in the mist, it's baltards in the mist.
Space monkeys in the mist.
Spinning space monkeys in the mist.
Well, that law of identity and law of non-contradiction beats them up pretty bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a physical location for boats to go over. Oh, no, it's not actual location now because it's beyond the point that they're supposed to be going over. So now we'll just use your argument that it's not an actual physical location because my globe physical location's broken now. So I'll use your argument because that'll work. Won't seem like a concession when I say it's going into the mist and not going over an edge that we need in our geometry. Yeah, they've lost badly.
The funny part is they don't even know it yet. That's the hilarious part. Have you heard a baller repeat my argument?
There is no rebuttal to your argument. They can only claim the horizon is not there. They can claim the horizon's not really there, we don't see it, like Rumpus did. They can claim that it's refracted, moving a physical geometry that's based on the geometry, looming the horizon above the horizon. That's it.
No, they don't even know the argument. Let me state this again. Has a glober, Baltard, spinning space monkey, repeated the charges against them?
Not yet.
No.
That's what I.
No,
that's
they
the
keep
question.
they keep focusing on the.
Actually, I have heard it.
The oil rigs.
Right, but remember, Tenth, we did hear it, which is why it was like, oh, so the model's wrong, and maybe it's a banana.
No, that's when we cornered him. He said it, but he didn't repeat the argument. He lost.
Remember, I asked him because we told him a couple of times, and I was just like, look, just give us the basic rundown of what you understand about this argument. Now, he didn't go through every number and, modus tones and all that, but he understood that the horizon was not supposed to be where it is. He understood at least that much.
Yeah,
so I give him some kudos.
No, but that was the conclusion after we kept throwing his radius number at him. And from that radius, you're stuck with a geometric edge of no further than 1.223 miles. So that whole point was, with your radius, you can't see further than 1.223 miles. So why is the horizon over 9.41 miles? And that's when he had no answer, and he did what you said. Well, maybe it's a square, maybe it's a cube, maybe it's a banana.
Maybe it's the Matrix. And with that, I'll say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!